States of America is the most charitable and philanthropic nation on earth. In 2006, we gave, and that's we the people, not the government, 1.7% of our GDP to charity. 1.7%. Now that might not seem like a lot, but compared to the second most charitable nation in the world, whose figure was 0.7%, we are 2.5 times more generous than our closest peer. The responsibility that we as Americans feel towards the less fortunate in our communities has been exercised through our churches, through our synagogues, through our private charities and agencies, and by ourselves as individuals for centuries. Yet there are tens of millions of Americans out there who have been duped into thinking that the only effective way to redistribute wealth is through the government. The entire concept of people helping people is lost on them. You know, I hear the argument all the time that, well, the government needs to be involved in the business of funding social services, because if you leave those funding decisions up to individuals, they won't come through. Really? Because for the past several years, charitable giving in this country has risen and fallen with the stock market to the tune of about 30 cents on the dollar. Meaning that of each individual dollar of wealth that people earn, 1/3 of that is voluntarily given to charity. Is that not enough? I also hear the argument that if individuals make funding decisions, then certain worthy causes will be well funded and other ones will be overlooked. And that would be a valid argument if we didn't have organizations like the United Way, like Catholic Charities, like any one of the thousands of religious and private foundations throughout this country who exist for the sole purpose of funding other charities. They can, and they do the job of making sure that all the holes get filled and that no worthy cause goes unnoticed. We don't need the government to do that. If I want to give this dollar to FCCAU, for example, which is a coalition of churches and businesses that runs Harford County's homeless shelter down in Bel Air. If I want to give this dollar to FCCAU, I know that they will receive this dollar in its entirety. I also know that this dollar is going to be put to good use. Now, if, on the other hand, the government takes this dollar from me, God only knows where it's going to go. Even if it does go to funding social services, easily 1/4 of it's going to be wasted on administrative red tape. And, at least, yeah, I mean, who knows? But the remainder of it that does go to social services, there's no guarantee that this will be used for the benefit of somebody who really needs it. You see, there's a fine line between helping someone and enabling someone, and social service agencies that are privately funded tend to have a pretty good idea as to where that line is. We have to have a good idea as to where that line is, because if we don't, we lose the support of our donors. Government-run social service agencies, on the other hand, don't know and don't care where that line is, because either way, their funding is still intact. And so the system is ripe for abuse. And that's not acceptable to me, because I work damn hard to earn this dollar, and if I decide I want to give it back to the community, it had better be put to good use. And if it's not, I reserve the right to withhold it and give it to somebody else. The gentleman right here will do. The other argument I hear from time to time is, well, maybe the government shouldn't have gotten involved in the first place in things like welfare, education, unemployment insurance, whatever. But now that they are, it would hurt too much to end that involvement. To which I say, you know what? So be it. Because I would prefer to suffer in the short run if it meant more benefits in the long run. I am willing to sacrifice today for the promise of a better tomorrow, and I am sick and tired of politicians kicking the proverbial can down the road and telling us that we can have it both ways, because we can't. We, the people, are the ultimate stewards of our communities, and we would all be better off if the government were more mindful of that fact. I got to wrap up here. I just got one more quick point to make. In summary, you can't have charity without prosperity, and you can't have prosperity without freedom. And so it is up to us to make sure that the freedoms that so many of our forefathers fought and died for are not voluntarily surrendered at